Good evening and welcome to the Lower Frederick Township Board of Supervisors General Meeting for February 3rd of 2026. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, all members of the board are present this evening, including our staff, township manager, our engineer, solicitor, and chief of police. Township meetings are recorded for the purpose of preparing the minutes, and the recording is destroyed after the minutes are approved. The meeting will be posted online on the Township YouTube channel. The link can be found on the Board of Supervisors page on the Township website. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name, address, and the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of facilitating the business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 3 minutes unless such time is extended to the chair for good cause. Individuals are requested to remain in their seats and to respect when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors shall provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on any non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed or prior to the adjournment of the public meeting. The Board of Supervisors had an executive session this evening to discuss personnel and real estate matters. So first on our agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes, which it looks like, I think we're caught up now, aren't we? Are we caught up? Except for January, okay. Does anyone have any questions about the meeting minutes? We're looking at October 28th, November 5th, November 25th, December 2nd, and December 16th. Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Also move.
I will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. And can I just say something? I want to thank our note taker, Siobhan. I don't want to embarrass you, but I, for one, am very appreciative of your yeoman's work for, I don't know how you did it or if you even slept, but thank you for getting caught up. It's really appreciated.
Okay, next on our agenda is the treasurer's report. Do you want to speak to that?
I'd just like to defer this to the next meeting. I was not able to prepare that with my additional duties currently.
Okay, so I will at least read the current fund balances as of January 31st of 2026. The general fund is $646,763. The general capital fund is $498,739. The hydrant fund is $17,324. Open space fund, $361,497. The open space CD is $106,397. The general fund CD is $1,393,872. Liquid fuels is $460,379. Developer escrows is $446,575. The sewer fund, $298,699. The sewer fund escrow account is $52,727. Sewer capital fund is $454,199, and the sewer CD fund is $212,112. Okay, we'll move on to payment of the bills. I wanted to ask you about this, Jason. What is the supplemental bills list through December 31st and then the January 31st to the 30th?
So the supplemental bill, this was a bill that needed to, at the previous meeting, the board approved the bills list through December 31st. The supplemental bill, this was a bill that should have been in that bills list.
Okay.
So this is a way for us to get on the record that for it to hit 2025 and be approved by the board.
Okay, and everyone's had a chance to look at these. Okay, is there a motion to approve the payment of the bills?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Guarena makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we're now going to move on to our professional staff reports. And first on the list is Carol, engineer.
Thank you. So the first page of items all deal with issues that are on the agenda tonight, so I'm going to jump to informational. The 2026 equipment bid has been advertised and is out on Penn Bid. Bids are due on February 18th. Update on the Lechmar project at 1467 Gravel Pike. Township staff met with representatives from Lechmar, encouraging them to complete the necessary work on that project. The representatives advised that they're prioritizing decluttering of that site and will proceed in March towards completing installation of lights, electricity, and the bathrooms identified on the development plans this calendar year. Over with Melbourne Hill, the plans and legal descriptions amended to resolve the boundary line conflict have been reviewed and accepted, so we're anticipating delivery of the amended plans for signature in coming days. At Farmview Estates, home construction continues, and construction of the tot lot was initiated this month. The Artisan or Landis Tract project, those plans, of course, received conditional approval from this township in December. We are still awaiting submission of plans that address review comments and conditions of approval. For 225 Big Road, a conditional use application and a request for zoning variance have both been submitted for this 30-lot subdivision on Big Road, which would sit opposite the middle school. Both the conditional use and the variance request applications are related to disturbance of steep slopes. And finally, 115 Second Avenue, which is the subdivision of an existing undeveloped parcel along the undedicated portion of Second Avenue, has provided an extension to March 30th for consideration of their plan. The applicant must resolve zoning issues before proceeding with this plan. The remaining items on my report are about individual grading permits, and I will leave that for your general reading at your convenience. If there's anything you'd like me to expand on, please don't hesitate to ask.
If you know, how close is Prestige to building out all their houses? Do you know how many they've?
We just processed grading permits for the remaining homes. I'm thinking it was 6 or 7 permits left. And that would be everything but Lot 1 where their sales trailer is.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions for Carol? Okay, next report is the solicitor's report.
I do not have a report this evening.
Okay, thank you. We're moving on to our staff reports. The police, please.
So I apologize to the board that I wasn't able to do a normal report. We had some computer issues with our third-party record system. A couple things I can talk about, though, just in the broad terms. This month has been primarily the storms. So first storm, we had 6 crashes plus a rollover crash. A lot of people caught a lot of people off guard because it came mid-morning. Then the second storm, the police department was fully staffed. Officers were sleeping here to make sure. We attempted to provide the board the briefings just to let you know all the information we were having. Between myself, Ed, the other members of the department, Tommy from Public Works, we worked hand in hand. We instituted and started doing the snow removal, or the vehicle removal for the snow. It seemed to make their life a lot easier. We had a couple complaints, but the information was put out. We put the Facebook posts, and it seemed to be okay. I think, if anything, it made people aware. Only comments that everyone from the police department were receiving is, this hasn't been done for several years, and we simply were trying to explain that we can't live in the past, we're living in the current and what we're going to be doing forward. So just a big thank you to the Public Works Department. And the only other thing of note was Officer Kerminsky attended the updated Veterans Response Training. So he's one of the members of the county team, and he's one of several reps in this area.
Okay. So when you said that you were going out to have cars taken off the street?
Yes.
Okay.
So cars that were parked on the street per the code, we were knocking on doors. People were compliant. They were a little upset about it, but they understood. And I think on the backside, after getting the snowplow, I think they realized how important it is, how much easier it is for everyone involved.
Not only for our public works, but for them as well, because their
Yes.
car's not getting plowed in,
So
right? Okay, thank you very much. Next up is the fire company.
So Chief Jack let me know he's at an organizational meeting in a neighboring municipality, so I'll read his report.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So for the month of January, they had 16 total calls, 5 in Lower Frederick. Hours of service, they had 14 hours and 5 minutes of incidents, 9 hours, 30 minutes of training, 34 hours administrative. Monthly training, they did truck checks, engineer night, officer meeting, hazmat ops refresher part 1 and 2, and bloodborne and AED reviews.
Okay, it looks like you're probably going to do ambulance, public works, sewer, and zoning.
Yeah, you just want me to roll?
Just roll with
Okay.
it, go. Thank you.
Okay, so for Plymouth Ambulance, they had 23 total calls in Lower Frederick, or I'm sorry, they had 23 calls in Lower Frederick, 72 calls in their primary coverage area, and they did 40 outside of their primary coverage area for the month of January. Public Works, they mowed Colonial Park, the meadow at Cuddy Park and Foy Park. They painted storage shells at the sewer plant, patched potholes throughout the township, cleaned the cascade and filter at the sewer plant, worked through multiple snow events, encountered multiple alarm call outs due to low temps. That's in regard to the pump stations and the plant, repaired the plows and spreaders, and then maintenance on the trucks between the snow events. Okay, the sewer engineer, the sledge hauling bid intent to award was issued to Hydrotech Environmental, and we are awaiting the signed contract and bonds from Hydrotech. It is anticipated the agreement will be signed and hauling to begin February 16th, 2026. We are trying, Tommy is working on trying to set up like a pre-meeting with Hydrotech before they start coming to haul. The 6 Little Road connection was reviewed and plans submitted. This is on the board's agenda tonight for adoption of this sewage planning module resolution for that project. And in 227 Zieglerville Road, this was a lateral leak. They had reviewed the shop drawings, inspected the connection to the sewer main. And that is all I have for the sewer. Zoning, 15 building permits received, 13 zoning permits for a total of 28. 14 building and 12 zoning permits were approved for a total of 26. 2 building and 3 zoning permits were closed out and completed. We issued 3 UNO resale UNOs in January, 1 road opening permit, 8 burn permits, a solicitation permit, and we received 37 pumping reports.
Okay, does anyone have any questions in reference to those meetings or those reports? Okay, not seeing any. We can move on to our Township Board and Commission reports. Is there someone here from the EAC?
I can report.
Thank you, Gary.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, thank you.
Good. Okay, we met on January 22nd. We held our reorganization meeting. I was reelected chair, Diane Jurin, vice chair, and Steve Lineski, secretary. The Green Energy Committee discussed solar panel installations and way to save money on them by acting as your own contractor and purchasing and phasing your construction. We discussed the Dark Sky International Model Code for outdoor lighting that is now available on their website. And the members are continuing to review it and will share that with the Planning Commission. The Birdtown Committee submitted their annual report. Our township receives credit for all related activities to environmental health done by the township and their commissions and committees. The Open Space Committee, the Park Board, EAC, Birdtown, Township Maintenance, and volunteers. We received a gold rating last year, and we hope to receive the same this year. The Birdtown Committee will be continuing to maintain the recycling containers at Coble and Cuddy Park again this year. Park Board, EAC, and Birdtown members check and empty the containers twice a month. The Single-Use Plastic Bag Committee is reviewing approaches taken by other municipalities. And it was reported to the board that the property maintenance code, the weed section, is not going to be renewed when the updated provision is approved, with the exception of the invasive weed provisions, which will remain. We are planning 3 outreach programs this year. We have scheduled a master gardener program about minimizing deer damage on your property. That's going to be held on the 26th of this month, Thursday, the 26th at 6:30 at the Township Building. We're also looking into possible on-site meadow talk and demonstration that had been recommended by a board member. And the Park Board attended our meeting and suggested that we work with them in planning for an Earth Day focused events in early May. The EAC noted that the Perkiomen mapping and flood mitigation study is completed, and a link to findings can be accessed on the Township webpage. And for this month, Did You Know, we're going to be highlighting this information. And that's our report.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Gary? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Gary, appreciate that. Our next report will be up for the Open Space Committee. Did they have a meeting? They did? Is anyone here to give a report? Dan, can you give a report?
Yes, we had a meeting. We didn't have a lot to discuss during the open session. We did go over the fact that we're all actively trying to recruit additional members. And besides that, Jason, was there anything else in particular? I don't think there was much more.
Was there a reorg?
So they went through the reorg. Mike
Oh.
Malczewski's still the chair, Vicky Sylvester's their vice, and Matt Davidson gets to be the secretary.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed the most obvious thing that we did. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Jason. Okay, next up is Park and Rec. Katie?
It's green. I don't know.
It's coming in and out.
Okay, so we met last night. As soon as we figure that out, we will let you guys know. Can I just talk loud? Oh, okay. We.
Yep.
Okay, good. Here we go. Let's try this again. Okay, we did establish a working group that's going to start working on Movie on the Mountain. We want to get a head start on that this year, and we want to work with other municipalities so that we can be more collaborative and hopefully have some participation from some of the local municipalities and boroughs. Good news, we did review the first draft of the Coble Park survey, and our goal is to try to get on the March Board of Supervisors meeting. Just to give you a summary of the data that we collected, and then also come up with some potential recommendations. Let's see. Spring watershed, the Perkiomen watershed cleanup is going to be on April 11th. And Jesse emailed us some sites we're planning to add, or they're looking to add an additional site, Coble Park, this year. So I think Lower Frederick is going to have 9 sites. And we're collaborating with the EAC to make sure that all the sites are identified, and we'll get more information on that a little bit later. Just a couple other things Gary mentioned. Monica and I went to the EAC meeting. We want to make our spring event be associated to Earth Day and kind of more focusing on the different groups that we have in the township. So Open Space Committee, we will be reaching out to them for participation as well. Recycling was already mentioned, and then just as a heads up, Spring Fest or Spring Event will be on May 9th. And then the fundraising working group met to discuss an exciting event that is going to be on May 30th, and we'll have more information on that when it comes out. So, any questions?
That was a teaser? You're not going to
That was
tell
a
us?
teaser.
Okay.
It actually got advertised on Facebook today, but
Well, now I have to go look. Okay.
if you really want to know, I can tell you.
It's okay. We can wait.
Here's your microphone. Sorry about that. Leave it there? Okay.
Yeah. Because Ernie's going to want it.
Sorry, Ernie.
So next up is our Planning Commission.
Ernest Schmidt, Lower Frederick Township, member of the Planning Commission. I'll give the report. It's going to be a little bit long. There's a lot of the questions that have been asked over the last couple of meetings. That's why it's going to be long, I think. Our meeting was held on January 15, 26. I have here the unapproved minutes, and I'm going to go with them. They're not naturally, the statements I'm going to talk about are true and factual. They will be subject to change at our next meeting on the March, and that can happen, but I'll start off. We reorganized on that day at 7 o'clock. The meeting was called to order. Jason Wager, our manager, assumed the temporary chairperson position and started off with the nomination for a vice chairperson. That was Greg Pocius, who was elected, and from then on, it was turned over to Greg Pocius to run the meeting, and he assumed that position, and that was, only about 10 minutes after the meeting was called to order by Jason. After that, we elected the vice chair, and that is Crystal Gilchrist, and she was voted in also. After that, the nomination and motion was for Miss Linda Jansen, and she was the recording secretary for 2026. And personally, she did a great job with these minutes, a big help for me. Now, we got into our first discussion. It was regarding the conditional use application of 225 Big Road, also called JEP LLC. For those that don't remember or didn't know, that was the former Rose Farm that was around here for many, many years. And Township Manager, and I'm going to read this because I think it has to be read. Township Manager Jason Weger explained to the membership of the Lower Frederick Planning Commission that if they wanted to table this matter until their February 19, 26 meeting, they could do so after consultation with the Township Solicitor, Mr. Peter Nelson. The suggestion was offered due to the very short window of review time of Township Engineer Carol Schuler's review letter, providing the same day at 3 p.m., 11/15/26, at the applicant's conditional use application provided to the PC membership on 1/14/26 at 1 p.m. the day before. Ms. Jansen raised concerns the 60-day hearing scheduled timeline for an applicant's conditional use application as outlined in the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code and LFT's Ordinance 170-31 would expire prior to the Lower Frederick Planning Commission's next meeting. Township Manager Mr. Weger assured the PC membership that Solicitor Nelson stated even if this was the case, our Board of Supervisors could still hold their first conditional use hearing within the 60-day window, then continued the hearing until after the Lower Frederick Township Planning Commission has met in February to offer their recommendation. Based on Mr. Weger's assurances and Solicitor Nelson's directive, the Lower Frederick Planning Commission agreed unanimously to table this issue until their February 19th meeting and entered into a brief discussion regarding this conditional use application, led initially by Township Engineer Carol Schuler. Ms. Shores explained to the PC membership this conditional use application for consideration by the Lower Frederick Township's Board of Supervisors has only to do with encroachment upon steep slopes as defined in LFT's ordinance 170-124B and 170-124C. Note, this applicant has also simultaneously submitted a zoning relief application to the Lower Frederick Township's Zoning Hearing Board, separate from this conditional use application for zoning relief from 170-46B.4 in parens. Steep Slope Conservation District, Article 16 states neighborhoods shall be located on tracts relatively free of sensitive environmental features. At a minimum, no residential lot of any neighborhood shall encroach upon steep slopes. 13 of the 29 lots proposed are situated over areas delineated as steep slopes in violation of this clause. Therefore, zoning relief is needed from the Zoning Hearing Board. Mr. Wager confirmed the Zoning Hearing Board would hold their meeting on February 23, 2026. This date has not been set yet for the Board of Supervisors conditional use hearing. With this, because I read the newspapers, and I'm going to bring the article, I'm going to bring this up. In the meantime, what has happened, there is a ad in the classified sections of the zoning hearing of the Pottstown Mercury of a conditional use hearing, and this ad was in the paper on January 17th, 2026. Was an advertisement for a conditional use hearing, and just for the record, I'll read it, and it's. I'll read this. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Supervisors of Lower Frederick Township will consider the conditional use application of JEP LLC at a hearing to be held on Tuesday, February 17th, 7 p.m. in the Lower Frederick Township Municipal Building in Springmount. Applicant is seeking conditional use approval under sections 170-124B and C of the Township Zoning Ordinance to permit certain front, side, and rear yards, roadways, access drives, parking facilities, utilities, retaining walls, and proposed homes to encroach on areas of steep slopes. The subject property is located at 225 Big Road in Lower Frederick Township. This is also Route 73 in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Also known, and it goes through the tax parcel numbers and all. And this was Lower Frederick Township Board of Supervisors, H. Peter Nelson, Esquire. That's for the record. I've read that.
Okay. Ernie, are there any, just some high-level points from the meeting that you'd like to go over? Can you just give us some, highlights of the meeting?
I'm getting to the point now.
Okay, thank you.
That's not. All right, I think you all understand what is going on with the JEP property up there on Big Road and what has to transpire. We have to have the hearing for the conditional use, and then after that time, the Township Board of Supervisors will advertise for the Zoning Hearing Board. Then let's get beyond that. Then number two item that we have here is the potential topics of discussion for 2026. The board has agreed to, the board in 2026 will continue discussions regarding the village mixed use area of the township and is awaiting direction from the newly elected Board of Supervisors. At the end of 25, Board of Supervisors, their recommendations in form of a draft ordinance with potential changes to the existing village mixed-use ordinance. These possible changes were the result of several discussions from the 2025 meetings, along with input from the previous Board of Supervisors, resulting in our MCPC senior planner, Mr. John Miklos, creating a marked-up version of the existing village mixed-use ordinance. There was the addition of more flexibility in the types of residential housing permitted and adjustments to current lot sizes. There was a comparison of surrounding municipalities' supermarket square footage, parking lot square footage standards, and shared parking options. Our planning commission agreed unanimously with all of Mr. Miklos' suggestions. It was also agreed that the planning commission would not pursue a 2026 MOTCO 2040 grant for any projects, but suggested perhaps other township boards and committees would take advantage of this option. It was also noted that our planning commission would continue their reviews of previously and future subdivision submissions, along with other board of supervisors' requests for discussion. We had public comments, and I'll just cover them briefly. Ms. Diane Juring of Zieglerville Road had a question about steep slopes near Simmons Road. She also had questions about the fact that, and also she is a member of the EAC, and she had questions about that the EAC was suggesting about dark nights resolution. And also, she also suggested that the Planning Commission resume discussions regarding the village mixed-use area. Perhaps they would explore imposing architectural design standards for new construction to ensure they blend with the existing structures. Mr. Brian Hill of 11 Zieglerville Road spoke out strongly in opposition to any changes of conditional use development plans proposed layout to avoid disturbing deep slopes. That's the extent of my report, and the next meeting will be March 19th, 2026. Thank you.
Does anyone have any?
I got a little long.
That's okay, Ernie. Does anyone have any questions for Ernie? No? Okay, well, we're going to move on to our business portion of our meeting this evening. Up on our agenda first is a resolution for the creation of the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator and OEM positions. Jason created a resolution establishing the position for the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator, as this position had not existed before in the township. It was important to create the position so that we can make the appointment. And additional OEM staff. The positions are based on our new Emergency Management Coordinator, Officer Ed Bacon's recommendations in November. At the time, we had tabled those appointments back at the reorg because we needed to establish these positions. So up first is to make a motion to adopt resolution. And what is the resolution number here, Jason?
2026 R-03.
03. So the motion is to adopt Resolution 2026 R03, creating the position of Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator and establishing additional Office of Emergency Management staff positions. Can I get a motion?
I will make the motion.
Also move. Okay.
Okay. Supervisor Coretta made the motion. Supervisor Orff made the second. All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next is a resolution to create the position of the Deputy Fire Marshal position. Again, this was a position we didn't have in the township before, so it was important for us to create the position so we can make the appointment. And this is going to be Resolution 2026 R04. Okay. So the motion is to adopt Resolution 2026 R04, creating the position of the Deputy Fire Marshal. I will make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll
I will
second. Up. You beat me. Wow.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that brings us to the resolution for appointments for the various positions. And Jason, I'm gonna let you take the over on this one.
Okay, also, what happened at the reorg meeting is several of the positions and appointments were tabled for future meeting, which is tonight. So this is for Resolution 2026 R-01, which is our reorganization resolution. If the board so chooses, I will go through the staff appointments, and then the board can adopt the resolution to make those appointments. Okay?
Perfect.
So for the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinators, the board is choosing to appoint Chris Alexander, Police Chief Brian Cass, and RJ Mazza. For the Deputy Fire Marshal position, the board chooses to appoint RJ Mazza. For the Planning Commission, the board chooses to reappoint Linda Jansen and Ernie Schmidt for terms expiring 12/31/29. They also choose to appoint Richard Park for the open position for the term ending 12/31/2028. For the Environmental Advisory Council, the board will appoint Gary Bonner, or reappoint Gary Bonner and Drew Meixel for terms expiring 12/31/28. For the Agricultural Security Committee, which is these terms are done a year at a time, for Terry Sachs, Terry Bird, Jim Roth, Elizabeth Barrett, and Jeremy Moore. These are for terms expiring 12/31/2026. For the Open Space Committee, reappointment of Daniel Orff for term expiring 12/31/28. And for the Zoning Hearing Board, reappointment of Matthew Lewis for term expiring 12/31/28.
Okay. There is a motion to adopt a resolution 2026 R01 establishing the Board of Supervisors organization, appointments, designations, and meeting schedule for the 2026 calendar year. Can I get a motion?
Noel, before you do that, before we vote on, move and vote, I guess I have to recuse myself, what do you call that?
Recuse
can't
yourself
vote
from
on-
being reappointed to the open space?
Yeah, so I can vote on everything else but that, I guess.
Okay, so we can separate that out.
Sorry, does he have to? I don't think he does. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have to recuse himself? No,
Okay.
Dan,
I don't have to recuse.
according to Colby, you don't have to recuse yourself.
Okay, then that makes it easier.
Okay. Right, so I'm just going to reiterate. The motion before us this evening is to adopt Resolution 2026 R01, establishing the Board of Supervisors organization, appointments, designations, and meeting schedule for the 2026 calendar year. Can I get a motion? I will make that motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Item up next is item D for zoning hearing board application for 225 Big Road, JEP, AKA Gentera. We are going to table that item for this evening. We'll move on to item E, discussion and authorization to advertise the 2026 chip seal project. Carol?
I think that's all me. All right, so a memorandum was provided to the township and provided to the board about pavement preservation to address some questions that were raised by board members. We prepared that memo and talked about different pavement preservation options. And I presented you 3 options to consider tonight. So option A is moving forward with chip seal of 4.45 miles of township road as previously planned. And that would include application of fog seal on the curbed cul-de-sac streets. The road conditions have been evaluated. There are some roads that would receive a single coat of chip seal, while others are double sealed. Option B is chip seal of 3.18 miles of township road, followed by application of slurry seal to Circle Drive and to Mine Hill Road. This would be somewhat similar to the treatment applied to Gerloff Road last year. Circle Drive was selected for this treatment because there's high truck traffic on that road and a lot of turning movements. Mine Hill has higher traffic volumes, and it did exhibit some bleeding in prior chip seal application. To do this, Delphi Road would be removed from the list of roads to be sealed and moved to another year to manage total project costs. And we also presented option C, which is the chip seal of 3.18 miles of Township Road, followed by application of slurry seal to Circle Drive and Smith Road. Smith Road was selected because it has higher traffic volumes and may have a lot of construction traffic in coming years. And again, Delphi Road would be removed from the list of roads to be sealed and moved into another year. So option A, if you selected that, could be done as it was last year, where we use CoStars to purchase materials and then put out an equipment bid for the application of those materials. That's really been a cost savings for the township. If options B or C are selected, we can't do that. We're actually going to need to do regular bid documents because of the slurry seal component. We can't do that with the CoStars and equipment bid option. So those are the three options developed for your consideration. The memorandum included cost estimates and more detailed explanation of this. I'll be happy to go into further detail or answer any questions you might have to assist in contemplation of these options.
I want to thank you for how well this was put together. I could understand like the three options, the way that these graphs are broken down. This makes a lot of sense. So I guess, because you took out, this is just an overall question, the removal of Delphi Road and Yerger to Mine Hill, why would you, is that like supposed to help with the cost of what we would be doing? Is that what that is?
Yes, exactly.
And I question it because the last base repair done was in 2014, and the last time it was last sealed was 2015. So it was like, it's the low man on the pole? Is it kind of like, is it
Honestly,
like
it was because it was in pretty good condition right now.
it's not terrible?
So we
Okay.
felt, I drove the road with the roadmaster, and we felt like of all the roads, that's one we could probably push back another year or two without too much adverse impact, because of all the roads, it was in reasonably good condition.
So having said that, I mean, if we wanted to go even with option A, we could do the same thing, kind of push it along or add it back in.
Yes.
Okay.
Given your experience doing our chip and seal, you provide us with three options. Normally, we just do option A. The costs are similar. They're a little more expensive for the other two, but are the advantages greater by going with B or C? I mean, how would you provide that analysis?
Sure. The problems that we talked in that, elsewhere in that memo, about actions that will be taken to further minimize the likelihood of having some of those problems again. That we're going to make sure that we get good traffic counts for the contractor, for the emulsion design, that on some of the roads that have been chip sealed before, we're only planning single chip seal where we can get away with that. That's less likely to bleed. Really, I guess the primary concern is that wherever you have heavy truck traffic, that can be problematic with a chip seal. That's a more likely location where you get bleeding. So we know on Circle Drive that we do have a good deal of truck traffic and a good bit of turning movement. So we're a little concerned about that one with the chip seal application. But that being said, that can be monitored closely. If there are any problems, we can address them as they arise, just like they were done last year. It would just be closely monitored after the chip seal process. All in all, that chip seal process is really your best bang for your buck in pavement preventative maintenance.
Option A.
Yeah.
So you don't see any big advantages in terms of how long it will last or save money in the future by going for B or C?
No, I don't see any long-term cost savings. I think the lifespan is going to be somewhat similar for each of the options. I guess if you're asking me what I would choose if it were my choice, I would chip seal everything because we get the most bang for the buck. We get the most roads, miles of asphalt paid for your dollar, or preserved for your dollar. And, but I know the board was asking about these other options, and I wanted to be able to give you those other options.
And seeing the final numbers kind of makes sense, that kind of helps to make up our mind, too. I mean, Jason, you've indicated we have $200,000 budgeted out of the liquid fuels, and then there's a $50,000 budget for pre-paving work on roads. And when we look at our bottom lines, I mean, option A, with a 10% contingency, because we've decided that's a good idea to do, is 192,910. And option B with the 10% contingency is 217,599. And option C is $223,598. In addition, we don't get to use the co-stars. We would have to put it out for full bid, and the not to exceed for the authorization to send out to do the work to do this is another $3,000. It would be $6,000, not $3,000. So I think overall, if your recommendation is that option A, and with the cost, okay, I guess it kind of helps us make up our mind unless someone else wants to add something to it. Terry?
No, you're correct. Option A would be the way to go.
I just wanted to ask a clarifying question. We have two Mine Hill roads in the township. One of them goes up to the main preserve, and the other one goes by my house. Which one are you referring to?
The one that goes past your house with a heavier volume, yes.
Okay, thank you. I think, didn't we just do the other Mine Hill a year or two ago? I think we did it recently.
I think didn't you just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, well, it sounds like we've kind of made a
So
decision.
I had one quick question, Noel, if I may.
Sure, I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
That's right. It's hard. Yeah, I'm the one who's not there, so it's my fault. Just related to Delphi Road, Carol, do you feel strongly enough that Delphi is in good enough condition that we should put it off even if we just chip seal?
Well, that wouldn't be my first choice, and that's for two reasons. Number one, when we assembled, we have about 25 miles of roadway in the township that's owned and maintained by the township. So we initially set forth a program to seal approximately 5 miles each year so that within 5 years we get everything sealed. And when we selected the roads to group together for each year, we tried to keep them near each other for efficiency. So we get the best, going back to the best bang for our buck, we get the best value when all the roads are close together and they don't have to stop and move the equipment to another road. They just continue on to the next road. So I'm happy to keep all of our clusters of 5 miles more or less together so that we get the best value and they don't have to stop and move equipment, which that time costs you money and is less yardage that you get coded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And the reason I ask is it's the largest stretch of road that is actually being chip sealed, if I'm reading the chart correctly, right? It's like 5,000, it's either 5,500 or roughly 5,500 feet or 6,700 feet, depending upon if you're adding the two chunks of Delphi together. So it just seems, and I was just, you were saying that we could drop it out because it was still in decent enough shape. So I'm fine if we want to chip seal them, if you think they're truly in need of chip sealing. And also based upon your reasonable justification that we're keeping the chunks of 5 miles of road in proximity to one another. So I'm just thinking that through out loud. So
And it keeps everything on schedule.
And the best circumstance is when you get these roads sealed before they go downhill.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you, Carol.
So before we move forward with authorization, I just have one last question. What are we doing with South Ryanford?
I think that's another topic, honestly.
Okay,
I think that's something that I'd like to get together with the roadmaster to talk about.
Understood.
and share with you. But if we go forward with option A, then we'd also be looking for authorization to advertise, and I'd get that out for bid in the next couple of days.
okay. All right, well, if no one has any more comments, any questions? Excuse me? I'm asking if anyone has any questions or comments? She's okay. All right. So the motion before us is to authorize the township engineer to advertise option A per Value Engineering's memo dated 1/9 of 2026 and receive requests for proposals for the 2026 chip and seal project. Can I get a motion? I will make, Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. I will make the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, next on our agenda this evening is Stormwater O&M Agreement for 114 Susan's Lane. It's pretty straightforward. This is a standard agreement prepared by Peter. This agreement is necessary for the applicant to cover the stormwater facility maintenance for this property. The project was the construction of a pole barn originally approved by variance by the zoning hearing board in 2023, and the agreement has been signed by the applicant. So there's a motion before us this evening to approve. Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I was just preparing if there was any questions. I apologize.
Okay, the motion before us this evening is to approve the stormwater O&M agreement for 114 Susan's Lane and further authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Guarena makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is a resolution for the sewer planning for 568 Little Road sewer connection.
Okay, so this is, excuse me, this is for a resubmission of the sewer planning module for the Little Road connection. It has been reviewed by our engineer and will be ready to submit to DEP once the board adopts the resolution. The item is for approval of a sewer planning module that allows the properties at 5, 6, and 8 Little Road to connect to the public sewer system. The request follows the township's approved sewage facilities plan and meets state requirements for wastewater planning. Approval of this resolution allows the township to submit the required paperwork to Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection and move forward with the sewer connection.
Okay, so moving forward with this resolution gets this off the ground so that these people can hook into the sewer.
Absolutely.
Finally, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I just have a question. So are they doing this at their own expense?
Yes.
Yes.
As far as the work, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. The motion before us this evening is to adopt Resolution 2026 R0405, approving the sewage planning module for the sewer connection serving 568 Little Road and further authorizing its submission to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Can I get a motion?
Dan?
Supervisor Guarena made the motion. Supervisor Orff made the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, next is the Meng Road Act 537 Special Study Discussion.
I
Carol?
think that's me. So the study, a little history here. In past years, there have been some problems with some on-lot sanitary sewer systems in the vicinity of Meng Road. And DEP reached out to the township and said, we want you to do a special study to evaluate this area and see if it needs sewer or some other method of addressing this issue. How big is the problem and what do we need to do to address it? We did go out and look at individual properties out there for any evidence of additional failed systems. And we did an updated study that has been provided to the board. And the findings are that we did not identify any additional failing systems out there at this time. And the ideal solution presented is to better educate people on how to maintain their on-lot systems so that we don't have to run sewer up Main Road. The board does not have to do any formal approval of this tonight. This is simply before the board to be sure that you were satisfied with the direction this is going, with the study that's been prepared thus far before it moves on to the Township and County Planning Commissions for their comments and the County Health Department. This will ultimately come back to this board for a formal approval, but tonight is just to affirm that it's acceptable for the board for this study to move forward to the Planning Commissions and the Health Department.
Okay, does anyone have questions or comments for Carol?
Sorry, just to clarify, for planning commissions, do you mean our planning commission and the county?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
I, for one, read through that entire lengthy packet. Very informative. I don't know if anyone else on the board got a chance to read up on it.
Well, I've been following along since the very beginning when it first came to everyone's attention. We tried to get a grant for it to pay for it because it wasn't cheap, but you managed to break it down over a period of time and get it done. I know that you visited many people on Meng Road. I know that I speak for a majority of the people who live on Meng Road, that this outcome is very positive. So I was happy to see that, and I can share that with some of the residents that had some concerns about trying to run sewer up Meng Road, which, as it states in our 537 now, is cost prohibitive. So, yeah. So I'm very happy with the way the report came out, and I would be happy to pass it on if anyone has any other comments. Okay.
I'm pleased with the outcome of the report as well.
Okay, having said that, I guess
Thank you.
we can
will
then,
get that out to the other agencies for their reviews. Thank you very much.
thank you.
So you just need a consensus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next on our agenda is the police request authorization for vehicle purchase. Officer Cass, you're on board.
Thank you. So at the workshop, I was going to prepare some numbers for the vehicles. I pulled that to do some due diligence to find the best value for the grant. So what you have in front of you is the grant breakdown, which, if people are not aware, the township received $58,520 for a grant through the LSA, through the senator's office. The vehicle, to buy the vehicle, is $45,862. Remaining grant would then be $12,658. That 12,000, out of that 12,658, we would have to put the equipment, upfit the vehicle, which is $15,896, and the lettering is $1,200. So what I'm asking for this evening is permission to A, move forward with ordering the vehicle, and two, if the board would be willing to cover the difference in not to exceed $5,000 for any incidentals. Because right now with the grant, the remaining grant balance, and then what we still need to do for equipment and lettering, it's a difference of $44.38. And based on all the numbers, the different vehicles and options, the Explorer, Interceptor is the best value. It would be the most fiscally responsible for the township. And ordering this vehicle and getting it into the fleet, it's something that we don't have to worry about for 6 or 7 years with vehicles.
So were we planning on getting a vehicle this year?
So we put in for the grant, so it was.
So like we were thinking about
We were
getting it,
thinking-
so we're going to get a brand new vehicle for $4,438.
So when we initially put the grant,
Right.
this was I think that was end of 24.
Last year.
25.
Yeah, actually, I think the vehicle was for next year.
And then
Yeah.
we were blessed and fortunate enough where the senator's office got us the other money, so we actually are ahead of the game
Okay.
with vehicles. So if we go, if the board authorizes this, this is something the fleet and replacing vehicles is something we did not have to worry about for
A while.
5 or 6 years.
And Jason, where would this 4438 come from?
I would recommend it coming out of the general capital fund.
And that doesn't affect anything.
No, it's one of the advantages to having that capital fund. It kind of allows the board to kind of something that kind of comes out of the blue, so to speak, where we have that funds in, and then it doesn't impact the general fund.
Yeah, we were lucky. We got this grant award. We don't have to pay for it out of pocket, and that's going to be a $4,438 vehicle. Okay. That's my opinion. Does anyone else have anything to add?
I just wanted to thank Chief Cass for the excellent work in putting us all together and making sure for not to exceed 5,000 is really great. So appreciate all your efforts on behalf of making sure we have a good fleet of police cars.
Thank you.
And if you don't want to take the money out, you could always finance the $5,000, which would be spread out over a couple of months. But you wouldn't be touching your money okay? Got to start using financing around here instead of just taking the money and buying. It's very simple to finance stuff.
I think that's an option. I think for maybe a bigger,
There you go. It's business.
yeah. Okay. Okay, does anyone else have any other comments or?
I do not. I'm prepared to make the motion. So I move to authorize the purchase of a new police vehicle in amount not to exceed $5,000 with additional funds to be used from the general capital fund, and further authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. Does that sound good?
Does that sound about right?
Is that right?
Okay. Were you making the motion?
Yes.
And I will make the second. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, and the last item on our agenda this evening is donation acceptance, a painting from the Pottstown Historical Society.
So Larry Cohen, member of the Pottstown Historical Society, dropped off a painting behind me. I'll show it to you, depicting the Zieglerville Inn circa 1960. And as a gesture of goodwill, I thought it prudent to formally accept the donation and write a response showing our appreciation, which there is a draft letter attached to with the summary.
Can you show it to the Zoom people can see it?
So the Zieglerville Inn, is that the Almeida? Was that the Almeida, Ernie? Do you know? It became the Almeida, yeah. It's where Wawa is right now.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, thank you. Very nice. Wow.
I guess the next question would be is where would it get displayed in the office?
Really? Do you have trust?
I have that water trough that was out.
Okay. Well, thank you very much to Larry and the Pottstown Historical Society. That's going to be a nice addition to the foyer.
Great.
No, we can, I'll make the motion to accept the donation painting from the Pottstown Historical Society and approve the letter acknowledging that donation. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, that's the end of our business portion. Are there any public comments this evening?
Hi, this is Linda. I just wanted to make a comment regarding the Zieglersville Inn. That was originally, back in colonial times, George Wickert's Tavern. And then it was known as the Zieglersville Inn for like 100 years or so. And then for much longer than it was the Hotel Alameda, it was the Colonial Inn. And then for maybe 7 years, it was Hotel Alameda. And you are correct. It is where Wawa stands now. So just wanted to do that clarification. I think a lot of residents would remember it not only as the Alameda, but more so as the Colonial Inn. But thank you very much. Great meeting. Thanks again.
Noel, I think if Linda could write that little historical,
Put underneath the picture.
and put it underneath the picture, that would be very nice to have the actual history underneath the picture. If you'd be all right with that, Linda.
I'd be happy to do it. I can't quite give you a timeline on it, but hopefully we'll try to have that for the next meeting. And George Wickert, basically all of Zieglersville, I believe it was like 1736, he purchased 306 acres or 360 acres, which basically encompasses where the town or the village of Zieglersville sprung up from. So, but in 1846, it was the original inn was, and that was the stagecoach stop, which, you know, at the crossroads where the circle is now. But I'll be happy to try to write something up, and we can go for it. And I believe at one point too, it was also called the Schwank Inn. And if memory serves correct, it was Aaron Schwank, one of the descendants of George Schwank, who operated a hotel and tavern at that same spot. So I'll do what I can when time allows.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
Yeah, and Linda, maybe just send your write-up to Jason, then he can print it out and we can put something by the picture.
If there aren't any more public comments, are there any supervisor comments?
Those of you who have been to any of our township events know that volunteers is what runs this township. We have volunteers sitting in this room. We have volunteers on all our boards and commissions. We have volunteers who show up to help out on all our events. And it takes a lot of people to run our events. So if any of you in the room or on Zoom know anyone or know anyone who knows anyone who wants to get involved anywhere from 1 minute to 100 hours, we can always use more people to step in and support making this township a great place to live. So I just want to make that call out for volunteers. It's great to see new faces, and the more the merrier.
Okay, thank you, Marla. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. This meeting is adjourned.